As I said, people, this is all about staying alive as long as I can by sharing my story about what is affecting me, what my mother and my grandmother have taught me, and I can no longer keep secrets because I decided to keep secrets to safeguard my family. Nobody believes me, and I'm accused of making up things. And when I thought that what was in my head, what I call my mirage, I found somebody I could trust because of the way he came into my life after a report was written. I decided that I was gonna, for the first time, after I'd spoken to my son, lay the burden at somebody with the knowledge to help me to deal with it. And instead of me getting the help that I need, I ended up here. So I'm gonna go to probably my probably been contacted by no. I'm gonna go to the 4th of April. So on the 4th of April, I was in court because the housing association had issued a possession order. So that had actually, I got a letter in, the letter was dated the 13th of July 2023. And in July, there were a number of issues happening to me. So although I said I'm going to go back to April, I have to tie in that. So there are a number of issues happening to me in July wherein I knew my brother was dying with prostate cancer. Actually saw a bit of his flesh. It wasn't sent to me. I witnessed it on my brother's phone. And then my brother spent his 60th birthday in intensive care. A blood vessel had burst from his head, in his head. He had been to he had been to Jamaica 3 times in the space of a short period for funeral. One of the funeral was Miss Lynette Grant, Lynette Walters Grant, who lived in our street, an integral part of the community, a Baptist member. And I would have had stories on my Facebook, especially my Jamaica page, about whatever. I had 18 pages. So one of the funeral was for Miss Lynette, most significant. And I remember sometimes during that time, we'd had a conversation. And my brother was saying to me that he had told Ronnie Gilpin, a former partner, that she should never call his phone again. And I chastised my brother, reprimanded my brother, and I said, brother, don't do that. because you done the same thing to me. And the context in which my brother had told me not to call his phone again was when Miss Reed, I see something sent. Because my daughter-in-law, Nahil Julian Brown Legister, had actually got Miss Reed to support me with my mental health. So I was having online I was having online interrogation with her. And yes, there was a WhatsApp group where people would come in. So it was during one of these groups because, as I said, from I was young, nobody tried to understand things from my perspective and why I do things the way I do things. Like Dr. Laura Crawford advised me to get counseling to find out why I react the way I do to, to certain situations. So, yes, it was a case of me being, I didn't agree with certain things and I'll express my way differently from what they expect. So it was during one of these differences in opinion, the same way my brother said, that's Tina, or Mimi Owusu, or no name, or whatever name she wants to call herself. Okay? So this is my phone, and I'm not going to answer it. This is my truth and my story, and I have no need to answer. I'm keeping myself alive. So, yes, during those altercations, my brother said I should not call his phone again in anger. So when he told me, he told Ronnie, don't call my phone. I said, don't do that, Amber. You've done it to me. Lo and behold, in July, when my brother was in intensive care, everybody heard the news before me, the same way when my husband died, everybody knew before me. I was contacted 6 hours and contacting me before the hospital. So when Ronnie called me and said, oh, your brother is in hospital, right? So here is the same person. Now, no name is come back. So this person, YouTube allowed this person to have variety of names to come and target me. So I put Tina in wherever, and now no name has come. What happened to your YouTube channel? Okay? To safeguard myself, I have to do what I have to do. And now no name is Mimi Owusu, who write 12-page witness statement for the landlord. And that is being used to make what is happening to me. And here she is. The same person that just called the phone withheld, that's her now. So now, what happened to your YouTube channel? And YouTube allowed these people to come on here. Yeah? To torment me. And when these things are not working as they ought to, that's what I get. Yeah? So because things are not working properly, because I can't get this to work, and it's integral part of what I do, how I do things. I can't function without this, and it's not working. So what do I do? It slow me up. Yeah? So once I'm supposed, that's how they do. She just called my phone, and then now what happened to your YouTube channel? And YouTube allowed these people to come and target me. And if I respond, I am the one who is harassing and threatening to take down my channel. So yes. So that was, I got the letter in dated the 13th of July. Almost sure I got it the 17th because I was going to my husband to the solicitors for power of attorney that Mimi Owusu advised us when my stepson come and take the money that my husband have. I didn't know. As I said, I never override my husband's authority in anything. So it's not everything I know. I leave my husband to do whatever. And when my stepson came here, and my husband called me to count out money, and I gave it to my stepson. He said it was short. The thing my stepson told me is his father promised to buy him a car. So after the money was counted out and my stepson got the money, I was talking to my husband, and that's when he said he don't remember promising to buy Trevor any car. But look, your father have money and promised to buy you car, and you come and take £11,000, all the money your father had, to go buy a car. I'd asked Trevor to fix the bell from when, and that was the day Trevor came to fix the bell. Everybody have a motive for what they do. And then during the time fixing the bell, Dad called me, count out the money, gave it to Trevor. And then afterward now, Trevor, Dad, and he said he can't remember promising to buy any car. So who advised us? Now, Mimi Owusu was in our life. I met Mimi Owusu in April at an event I went to. They are out there scouting out. So Mimi Owusu was in my life. She promised to make me part of her Black Awards and the whole works. So me don't have anything to do and have a little money where I want to invest. Was so grateful. Mimi Owusu started take me out to places. She and Liz came here. I met her and Liz at the place. So they have their hench people. And then started coming here. Helped to set up website. Actually, I would say Mimi took over my life because I needed somebody to be there for me. And Mimi realized the vulnerability because she was there yesterday writing things about I allowed it. I was vulnerable. She was there, so I try to capture some of it on the thingy. Now she's asking me what happened to my YouTube channel. And YouTube is allowing all those things, and I am the one who will get blamed. Yeah? So basically, Mimi realized my vulnerability, my husband's vulnerability, met me, got invited here, and decided to take over. So when she knew about the money that was taken, she advised me, power of attorney, will, the whole works. So me now, I was so glad because by this time my family, my brother, who was there for me, had dished me dirt. My sons were not doing much, and I was this lonely, and with all that was happening. So when Mimi also came into my life, I couldn't believe that somebody had come to rescue me and help me. And then when she made advice, she found the solicitor for the power of attorney, and then thingy. When you read her thing, you will see where she laid it all out. She was so surprised when I decided to give her power to make her my whatever and whatever. And she said, no, whatever, it's all in there. Because she's thick. Yeah? She soon find another name to come through. She just written what happened to my YouTube. And YouTube allowed these people to come and target me. Like my neighbor and or whoever in the street. So on the 4th of April, I had to be in court because of this situation with the landlord and the solicitors. Yeah. From what was done behind my back, I didn't have a chance to justify myself. Now, all this is going on, and I had to be in court on the 4th of April. My husband was admitted to the hospital on the 9th of March, a day after his 101 birthday. I have the recordings, Trevor singing, although Tom had told him not to come back here and all that happened. He's in here singing happy birthday at the head of his father in my room. Yeah, because Trevor had come here and assaulted me before. And that was the day. Because by this time, the day after my husband's birthday, after everybody was here, after everybody had gone, my husband had become erratic. So I was calling out for help. The first person I called was Trevor. And then I called out the other emergency number. And Trevor came here. Trevor didn't hurry to come here. Trevor came here late. And Trevor, I was so stressed out because Tom was agitated. As I said, I had to call out the ambulance people. But Trevor arrived here first. And Trevor, why did Trevor assault me? Because Trevor started acting some way around his father. Because in the beginning, I just leave Trevor and his father to get on with it. There are certain things I don't know need to be involved in. But Trevor started acting some way. I hear the father screaming and shouting. And Tom don't scream and shout unless something is happening. And when I went to find out. So whenever Trevor comes, I was talking to my son's father yesterday, and he says, I'll look it in your record. And then I said, well, people don't want me to record because then I have evidence. And I'm being told I had to take things down, even for me or also. People go and report me, and it's by rights. Yeah? So that's why now she can be here and antagonizing me. And yet nobody, YouTube is not doing anything. And if I retaliate now, I get in the wrong. And I'm being threatened. Yeah? I've lost everything, so I can't afford to lose anything else. Trevor came and assaulted me in here. Yeah? The ambulance eventually came because I don't give up easily. I will call and I call and I call as long as I'm in control. So the ambulance eventually came. But some of the reports that were put, eventually my husband went back to the hospital. Police came for Trevor. My neighbor got involved because Trevor and my neighbor has developed some relationship. So my neighbor was taken up because my neighbor actually, maybe me or Wusu done it, but I think my neighbor also told Trevor that I'm abusing my husband. There was a time I asked my neighbor, Trevor, to write my neighbor a letter to say that I've raised concerns. And Trevor wanted to speak to her in person. I said, Trevor, doesn't make sense. It's best if you have things in writing. He claimed that he did write the letter, but when I asked for a copy, I did not get it. And from their engagement and interaction, Trevor opened door for my neighbor to speak to whatever. And Trevor tell me that my neighbor said she's going to seek legal advice when I am not the guilty one. So, all right. The 4th of April, all that was thing and done. There's information out there, yet I'm being asked to remove certain information. So that's why I locked down my thingy, make it private. They said it can go. I don't know because I see people coming in here. So if it's only me alone can see it, how can people be there? So that means something is wrong. But anyway, I'm trying to abide by the rules. So I'm not blocked out as yet. So I haven't breached any rules. Because as soon as I say certain things, I'm blocked out. But I'll tell my story. The 4th of April, I had to go to court. Now my husband is in the hospital. Yeah? Over the same thing. That is not just and fair. But because the law said certain things, and they know which aspect of the law to use, there's no thing. Nobody's going to help me, although I have my facts. The 4th of April, so I'd be visiting my husband, doing what I need to do. I was still functioning. Court, visit my husband, don't know what else I did. But it was the 4th of April, the 5th of April, don't know what I did. The 6th of April, by this time, this is another story, but there's a Monique Wilson who I was introduced to. So there was going to be something happening, I think maybe the 7th of April. So I decided, because I was so tired, I decided, you know what? I went to the Windrush Vigil. That was the second time. I think the second Windrush Vigil. I met Amelia something from The Guardian. I actually done a little interview with her, so it's on my YouTube. I decided, because of my involvement in Monique Campbell Wilson's thing online, I wasn't going to go to see my husband on the Sunday. So I said, although I'm tired going to the Windrush Vigil, let me go see my husband. So then if I don't go to see him on Sunday, then I'd been there with him. So that was the 6th of April. I had court the 4th. I was provoked, and I said things. And for want of clarity, I will record what I'm saying. So if I said I didn't say things, I'd be lying. And maybe some of those things are my downfall. I was provoked. Believe me, I was provoked. And if I'm provoked, I'll be on here and YouTube block me or block, and I persist and persist till I get what I want done. So yes, I was provoked by the housing officer, who I just see a letter from her. She made sure the rent update didn't come till a month and a half later. So I've gone back into arrears, and with all that's happening, I haven't had time to sort that out yet. I went to Windrush Vigil. I was so tired. But me, those things pour me on. That's why I don't, when depression said, cover up your head under the sheet and don't come out, I come out now. I used to not come out. And I'd be out sometimes 3-4 days. I do nothing. Because depression said, you need to cover up your head. You need to not to do anything. So now I defy depression. I got to the hospital. And I got to the hospital. And as I walked in the room, my son is on Byron Ward. Can't remember the number of the room now, but it's so familiar to me. I walked into the room, and as I walked into the room, I see my husband's feet hanging over the bed. Yes. I walked into the room, I saw my husband's feet hanging over the bed. A nurse came behind me, who I learned later on was Nurse Betty. I learned that you have to be observant, especially in the job I did working with children, and especially children with special needs. You have to have eyes in the back of your head. And everywhere, you have to be alert. Safeguarding is everybody's responsible. And if I walked into a room and noticed that an elderly man's feet is hanging over the bed, why did a nurse, who is a professional, on the job, just walked into the room, picked up something from the bedside table, and walked out back. So that means she didn't even glance at the patient. That's my estimation. Because it happened so fast. I know she came in behind me and then she was out. But my priority was to safeguard my husband. Foot hanging over the bed. I know what that was, It is the death that is coming, that is moving the body, shifting the body. He didn't do it voluntarily. Same like how my mother said, when my father came out and put up his foot over the veranda railing, it was getting his strength to go on his next journey. So when I saw that, apart from Nurse Betty who came into the room behind me, I'd only seen a young man pushing a trolley around, a young man. I didn't see any other staff, any other person on the ward. So what I did, I make sure before I left the room, I made sure that whilst my back was turned, my husband couldn't slide off the bed. So I sort of adjusted him a little. So he's safe. Remember now, I'm just coming from Windrush Vigil. I don't know what else I've done that day, but I know I was coming from Windrush Vigil and I was very tired. I made sure I safeguard my husband that he couldn't fall further off the bed than where his foot was hanging off. And because I'd seen the young man, I went back out and I called to the young man and I said, please, can you get somebody to come and help my husband? I didn't see Nurse Betty anywhere at this time. The only person I saw when I went back out of the room is the young man, because if I'd seen the woman, at the time I didn't know it was Nurse Betty until later. If I'd seen the woman, he came into the room, I would have spoken to her. But the only person I saw is a young man pushing a trolley around. So obviously he was handing out food for the patients. So I asked him, I said, please, can you help me get somebody to help me with my husband? I'm not fenke about doing things for my husband, because when he was in guys, they were so anything. I said, just show me what to do or tell me what to do so I can help. I remember having a conversation with this particular nurse, said she came from St. James, Farm Heights or whatever, because she wasn't satisfied with the way they had cleaned up my husband. If my husband is agitated, right. So here is the same person. This is Mima Owusu. Back on here, yes? I tell you, this person have same how many names. So I blocked her out, no name Antina, and now she's here yawning. Clean your room now. Yes? This is the same person who wrote a bill and receipt about I'm a hoarder and she couldn't get space. So this is now when I'm supposed to be telling my story. This person is here. Yeah? So this is the third person now. She's created. Yeah? This is the third person she'd created, and YouTube's not seeing that. Yeah? Does anybody understand what I'm going through? So this person is Tina, this person is No Name, and this person is Nene. Nene San. Nobody's seeing that. Okay. So I went, after I spoken to the young man, I went back in the room and I decided, knowing me and what is being said, when I raise and I say something happened, there's always somebody telling me, no, it didn't happen. So I decided, that's when I decided the young man wasn't in the room. I went out the room to ask him, can you get somebody to help? He didn't come in the room. I went back. I took a video of my husband secured, because if I'd taken the video when I just gone in and seen, it would look even worse. But I'll already make sure he couldn't fall out of bed by the time I turned to go get help. So that is the picture and video I took of my husband, because I need to document. Right. The next thing I know, I'm there waiting for somebody to come, and the young man came back in. The same young man. And believe me, and I'm saying it and I said it before, the young man was trying to get help for me because I asked him. Remember, I said he was pushing the trolley. But he came back in the room. And I think when he came in the room and saw what I asked him to get help, he decided to do what he thought was right to secure my husband. But what I had exceptions with, the fact that immediately he started handling my husband, and he didn't have any gloves on, and he was just pushing a trolley around. By this time, my husband had stopped eating. My husband wasn't taking food. He didn't have gloves on, and he was handling my husband. And the way I see him handling my husband, I done care assistant training from 2006. And as I said, I asked the nurse in Guy's and St. Thomas's, anything you need me to help you with, just advise me, instruct me what I should. The way I see him, the young man handling my husband, I know it was more a detriment. That's Tina again. So she's gone long enough now to be calling me. Yeah? Yeah? This is what I'm putting up with in my own space. So that's Tina again. Or Mimi. Or Nene Sen. Nene San, or No Name, or Mimi Ousu. Or Dexter Blackman, and all the names she called herself. And somebody have the time now to be targeting me. So yes, she hung up the phone, so that must be she back there. Right. The way I saw the young man handling my husband, I said to myself, you know what? Let me get a recording of him, because he was in my husband's space now. And for me, he was posing a danger. No gloves. He was just handling the trolley with food. And the way I see him, you see, he didn't have training to do that. What needs to be done? So when I started filming him, he said to me, why are you filming me? And he left the room. He didn't argue. He only asked the question, why are you filming me? And he left the room. He didn't argue. So I know that young man had genuine intentions of helping. The next thing I know, the young man came back to the room. But this time, the young man was in a different state of mind. He come demanding that I delete the video I'd taken of him. And me being me, no man was going to come and speak to me the way he was speaking to me. Because I said his intention was genuine. Yes? This young man's intention was genuine. But now he went back and he must have told whoever he told. And the person sent him to come back to tell me, the man, that I delete the video. The same way the two persons who came the other day, and Lloyd was here and I'm recording. And I said to them when they come in, I said, I'm recording and you're going to tell me I must turn it off because of confidentiality. And then you're going to tell me about your policies and procedures. Well, I never signed any policies and procedures. I never did. No, I never signed any policies and procedures. And you're going to come in my house and demand. I didn't know you were coming. So what is the intention? You have something to hide, that you don't want to be captured on recording. I said to the young man, no, I will not delete. And then he become even angrier because he was sent. And then that's when Nurse Betty entered the room and started arguing. And I like how I told the two persons, get out of here now. I told her the same. I said, get out of this room. Get out. The next thing I know, a nurse came. I know she is maybe Caribbean from her talking. Yeah. And I told them what happened. And then she started looking after my husband. And then she was joined. So this is a West Indian nurse, black. And then she was joined by a white person. And the two of them were looking after my husband. So now I'm satisfied that something has been done. I said my piece and I'm done. I'm satisfied that something is being done towards my husband. I was sat beside my husband, but I said, you know what? There are two people there taking care of my husband, and I needed to be out of that environment because by this time they were saying what was happening and this and that, and I'd been through so much of this. And I remember I told you I had to clean my husband when he done a doo-doo. And when the people came, the carers came and they were like, oh, you done? And I said it. I couldn't manage him back because it's two carers coming and by my. So I couldn't change the sheet on the bed. So I pushed it aside so he's not in the mess and make him secure. They were like, you done it? I said, yes. Yeah. So I just let the two nurses, a black and a white nurse, they were talking amongst themselves what was happening and what was happening. And I could pick up from that some of the care that my husband was supposed to get in, they left my husband to die, people. That's what happened. I went and I stood out in the corridor. I just went and I stood out there. And I think during that time I might have been singing or might have been reflecting, talking to myself. And then that's when Nurse Betty come. She didn't come. She was up at like the station and she was telling me, she was talking to me and accusing me of doing something, which I know I wasn't doing. I get accused because sometimes I talk to myself then. Sometimes I sing to myself. After trying to get help, there was nobody. So who would I be talking to? I left the two nurses looking after my husband, and she was at the desk, and she's going to call over to me accusing me of something. So to avoid a confrontation, because I know my temper, and because I was tired and all that was happening, and because of what happened the 4th, I went to court and I was provoked by the neighborhood officer. So I know I cannot afford to be in this situation. I'm just coming from Windrush Vigil, where they were talking about injustices to the Windrush generation. I have my photograph and stuff like that. Yeah. So I have reason to be upset. So when she started, and I said to her, no, I'm not doing it. I decided, you know what, I'm not going to start a confrontation with this woman. I went back into the room and I sat at my husband's bedside. The next thing I know, I see two officers, two male came. Two male came. There was a third one, but I didn't see him until I went out. So there was two white and a black, but the black was outside. So now I'm one person. And in everything is always 4 and 3. Like when they came with battering ram, like when they came in here and beat me up. 3 came in here. It was 4 of them. 3 came in here and 1 stayed out. 3 male came. I saw 2. And then when I went out. So one of the male came and spoke to me and said, they want to talk to me. I should come outside. And I said, I prefer not to go outside. Can you talk to me here? And they said, no. So when I realized that if I didn't go outside willingly, they were going to come and take me by force. And knowing the state of my husband, I didn't want my husband to be in a situation where whatever. So I went outside. They said they want to talk to me. So I went outside. I left my coat on the chair. I'm not lying. My red coat. I know to get it out. Because when I need to go out now, it's just say, I left my coat on the chair because they said they need to talk to me. I left my coat on the chair with so I had my bag. Because in my bag, I have everything. It's my life. My purse with my money, card, whatever. So I don't leave my bag anywhere. In my coat pocket would be my keys, my bus pass. That is essential. I went with them and they went. So I'm thinking, okay, they're going to take me somewhere to talk. So that's when I said I went outside and there was, I saw the black person. So they lead me away and the next thing I know, we were in the lift. So there was no talking done. So when we are in the lift now, I realized what was happening. And so I'm an argumentative person. That's me. And for me, you coming to take me away from my husband, and I'm saying, you need to speak to me. And I said, speak to me here. So you know I'm going to talk. If I could record, I'd record. But what's the recording when everybody's shutting me down? They took me to the lift go down, and then they chucking me out of the lift. I must go out, get out, and don't come back. So remember, I'm in the lift, describing them, calling them racist, the whole works. I'm not sure I recorded. I wouldn't have had time to record because I'd have to go into my bag to start, and so I wasn't recording. No. So when they reach to the lift and tell me I must come out and don't come back, I said to them, no, I'm not going to come out. My coat is and I would have had money in my coat because I'm always having things in my pocket. But the main thing in my pocket was I'm concerned about my bus pass and my keys, because without them, how do I get in here? How do I get on the bus? So when they insisted that I should come out and don't come back, I said, no, I need to go and get my coat. They said, no, I can't go and get my coat. So it was the black officer. It was the black security who said, I'll go and get it for her. And he was the one who came, went up and got my coat and bring it and give me. Yeah? I came out. I was so distraught. Remember, I'm tired. I'm coming from Windrush Vigil. I've just had an ordeal on the fort where I was provoked. And all that was happening. By this time, my husband's family was having a go at me. My own family now has abandoned and rejected me. My brother died and my brother didn't let me have anything to do with the funeral. So it's everybody against me. But for me, I have to keep my strength for my husband. The young man brought me the coat and I put the coat on and I came out and I was talking. I saw some police and I told them something or other. And I think by this I started recording. But the police who I spoke to, they were so kind and gentle and give me advice. And I came home here. That was the 6th. On the 7th, I had to call the ambulance out. So the 7th of April, I had to call the ambulance out. I think I was manhandled again. That my finger, because I think I wrote something in the report, Paul's report, and Gail Lewis was more interested in my, like, that was all it was. My fingernail that was broken. I think why I mentioned my fingernail was the doctor said put something in his report about the fingernail. So I think maybe that's why I mentioned fingernail. So the 7th now, whatever it was, but I had to call the ambulance. So I was in accident and emergency. The 4th, I was in court. Can't remember what happened the 5th, but I would have been stressed out. The 6th, I went to Windrush Vigil and I was visiting my husband because the 7th, something was supposed to be happening that I was now a part of with Monique Campbell in Jamaica. So it was going to be online. So that's why, although I was tired, I said, let me go and visit my husband because I wouldn't be going there Sunday. But I didn't go there Sunday because I was in accident and emergency again because of what somebody did. I came home on Monday, the 8th of April. I don't know what time it was, but I remember somebody sent me condolences or something. Trevor didn't contact me. My stepson didn't contact me. It was Robert. Robert was the first person who sent me condolences. And from what was said and done, Trevor was at my husband's bedside when he was dying. Yes? My stepson was with his father. He passed on the message to Robert that my husband had died. And yeah, I heard my husband had died, but I didn't get it from the hospital. And my stepson did not contact me. But I know for a fact that it was, if anybody else didn't contact me, but Robert contacted me. And I'm here. I'm in chaos because I've just been in accident and emergency yesterday and all that was happening. And I lost my brother last year. The other one was disabled. And as I said, by now, my brother, I didn't have anything to let me have anything to do. So it's additional pressure on me. My brother and I have our disagreement, but we made up. And to have all those things happening to me, it's additional stress. Anyway, it was, my husband died about 6 o'clock. Right. So this motherfucker come back now with another name. So I'm gonna show you who I am, bitch. Mimi Owusu. That you're not gonna take my joy. Right. So you distract the message. You distract the message. Why are you there? Why don't you go and look about Dominic? Why don't you go and look about Dominic? Go and feed Dominic. Go and sex Dominic. Go do something for Dominic. Yeah? Same person. Yeah? So this is the same person, same situation. So this person has all these names like she uses. Yeah? Yeah? This person has all these aliases that she uses, and YouTube allowed this person now to be targeting me. Yeah? So now it's four so far. Yeah? Tina, Nenese, and Let's Game Unicorn. So three so far. And then the person is calling my phone. And YouTube don't see and hear those things. But once I respond now, yeah, I am the guilty party. That should be shut out and blocked out. But God is my guide. God is my life and my salvation. Yeah? It was 6 hours. My husband died after. See? Now she's calling. This is the person who write a 12-page witness statement for the housing association that's been used to make me whatever. This is the person. Okay? This is the person. So here. This is the person. Yeah? So I learned how to whatever. I went and I read up when I spoke to the solicitor yesterday. I went and I read up and I decided close that down. Start again. Because my voice will not be shut out. God will keep me long enough to accomplish my purpose. So you can come with another name. Yes, come with another name, darling. I was here because now I know, as I said, Robert contacted me. And because I was in accident and emergency Sunday, I have to prepare myself to go out. It was my husband died 6 o'clock, and I never got the call because I was waiting for the call. I never got the call until 12 o'clock. Who was it that called me? A male nurse by the name of John. Because as far as I am concerned, the only person that I notice or seen any evidence of taking care of my husband in King's College Hospital is John. I'd go there, my husband stop eating, and they tell me my husband eat his food. I get all this. They phone me, try tricking me to come and take my husband out of hospital. He's walking, they getting framed. So, see why I record? So they waited. So they must have seen some relationship with me and John. Or maybe something I said about, I might have gone and said my husband's father was called John or something. Because I put those things out there. My husband's father was called John. He was on Byron's ward, my brother who died when I had the first nervous breakdown. Yeah. So they might have seen that. So they waited. The hospital waited 6 hours later. Not even have the decency to say, tell my stepson, get in contact and contact with your father's wife, because it's in the report from Gail Lewis. He was there when my husband died. He was at my husband's bedside. I said to them when I got the call, don't know if I spoke to somebody, I relayed the message to John, but it was John. So they waited until John came on shift. I said to whoever, I said, tell them, please do not remove my husband's body until I get there. And that's what happened. So I went there, I done my ritual. Don't know if he got any water or whatever, but his body was still on the bed. And I got there, mouth open, whole word. And I got there, I done my ritual. What I considered my ritual, because of hearing that scream from my mother when my father died. Yeah, so I done my ritual, and they did what they had to do. And so that's why all of these things gonna be researched. So I have to take away my rights, close down my YouTube, and start in afresh to get my story out there. Because if I'm this horrible person, if it's even the fact I take care of my husband, and why there was no intervention as soon as my husband is dead now, I'm having whoever, and I'm having whoever, and all that I've said, and it's on YouTube, and it was on Facebook until they take away. So I done my ritual, and I came home. I sing, I do what I need to do inside and out. Because once I went in and done my ritual, I waited outside until whoever need to do whatever, and whatever was done, and then I take my leave. So that was the 4th of April to the 8th of April when my husband died in King's College. So the 4th of April, I was at court and then provoked after court. Can't remember what happened the 5th of April, but it would be around whatever. So I'm sure I would have gone to visit my husband on the 5th of April as well. I never let a day miss me. I was going to miss Sunday because I had other things to do online. So I went to the vigil and I went to visit him on the 6th. On the 7th, I was in accident and emergency because of what happened on the 6th. Manhandled again and broken fingernail and all that. And then my husband died on the 8th. And I'm sure with what happened after that, it can be tracked. But now I have to hide everything. So nobody have any compassion around the fact that during the time brother dying, one in intensive care, spent his 60th birthday, the first high blood pressure attack, me in Tessa Joel Health Center asking for help, and then is now I'm seeing that on the 24th they were having case and transferring the case from Central London to County Court of Clerkenwell and Services, and then District Judge Greenwich, then District Judge Swan presided and sent it for the 27th, and then from the 27th it was sent for the 1st, and behind my back everything happened, and they said I was whatever, I was informed and I didn't attend, but anything they said time enough or whatever, and I still didn't know. So when they were having things on the 24th, my family crisis, 24th to the 27th or whatever, to the 27th. On the 30th of July, There was no bell yet because Trevor didn't fit the bell yet. He came to fix it when he had his plan to come take his father's money. I heard banging on the window in the evening. It's a Sunday evening. And as always, I looked through the window. I went to the door. It was a lovely elderly man. We had a chat and a laugh, and he was saying, well, you can't be 90 years old. And I said, who told you that? Blah, 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 blah. I think I recorded him. And he handed me a bundle. And on the bundle was like a USB. I think it's blue or green. I took the bundle in here, honest to God, even if whatever, I wasn't, although I get a letter about possession and section, whatever, I wouldn't have had time to go look what that means. Because for me, I haven't done anything for possession. All I did was call the person and say, do you know what you're doing? And of course I record because I was so busy going to whatever. So the 30th of Sunday evening, that's when I get the thingy. The 31st, I was in Tessa Joel with my husband for his diabetes eye check. I was even saying, why did they send us so far? They used to send us down to near East Street. But we were this time all the way. But what I started doing, I use my husband's money and I get cab if we're going on. And then when we're coming back now, we have time. We don't have to be rushing. We get the bus. I was in there, I'm on record asking people, asking for help with my husband. I was so stressed out. Coming back from my ordeal, I have to be in the hospital, accident and emergency. And now my husband was really getting low, erratic, and everything was getting on him, on top of him as well. And then me with my chronic anxiety and all that was happening. It was hell. So from when I don't know. So that was the 31st. The first, I must have gone somewhere. And because that's why I said to people that because I didn't have any bail, and because sometimes they trick you, like contractors to come, I'm in here, and then I go to the door and I see something there that they came and unfortunately they didn't get, and I'm in here. So like if I have to go anywhere and I know they're supposed to come, I will leave messages. So I'll leave one on the door, they can't miss it, and I'll leave one in the window. So I do those things sometimes to attract attention so that they don't say I am the one who is in breach. So when I came home on the first, I don't know where I went, but I wouldn't just go out for no reason. And when I came home on the first, there was a letter, a note to say that they came. So as per usual, that's what I said. I don't delay because I don't want it to be my fault. So that's why when I got the letter about possession, I found the number. So I found the number on the letter, the note that was left. So somebody came. And I can't remember now if it was in here, I picked it up out there, or however it was. Or it was handed to my husband. I can't remember, but as I know, I came home and there was a note. And I got into action and I found the number on the note. And it was a lovely speaking lady. And when I told her what it was, she said, don't delay. You need to act now. And I acted. By this time, Liz, who introduced me to Mimi Owusu, had come back from America. And we had spoken. And she came here to support me. And that's how I don't know who took the picture at the doorway. So when me house was telling go tidy up my house or whatever, my house will never be tidy because they are extenuating. So I tidy up and I have to go pull out. So I'm not lying. So yes, here is my confirmation. When this picture was taken, there was no bell. There was no camera. Yeah? And as I said, the camera is there for surveillance so they can target me within this confine. I told it to the psychiatrist when he came. Can you see any bell or any camera? Where do you see the bell? They have this here, but it doesn't work. Because what they used to do, they used to sometimes put it under mine. It doesn't work. So from, as I said, from I moved here, Tess told me about what the neighbor who was in here before me and do. Do you see any camera? If I take this picture, they are using it. Now, that's my door. Down here, so that's the stairs going up. I didn't take that either. See, Paul sending me something. I didn't take this either, but as you can see, there's a mat. From I meet my husband in 2001, he bought a set of mats. So there was different one, but this is like a posh one. That's been there. 2001, my husband bought these mats. And then when the mats are needed the most, they started targeting me, leaving message about removing the mats. So whoever took these, it's not mine. It's not me. And when I said I am not lying, when Liz came back from her father, because she's accusing me of putting pictures, it's not me. Can you see? And I don't think there was any camera. There was no camera when this picture was taken. So you can see where I'm at in the background. So that would be when the person, because when Liz came, I phoned Liz and I told Liz what was happening. And Liz said, okay, she will come and support me. So when the person, because I had to call the number, so when the person came, and it even was something different. So it was a courier. So you can see. Maybe when Liz arrived here, she didn't take. When this picture was taken, Liz was still wearing her coat. So Liz is nearer to the door. And I'm sure there was no camera. Who took these pictures? Who had me under surveillance? And that's why I said the camera was taken up. So why is it me who is the bad party and doing all these things when these are in the bundle? And they accuse me of all these things. Even if I'm a cantankerous person, during that period of time, I didn't have time for it. Yeah. So I'll be doing this until it's my story. Yeah? It's my story. So I'm not going to let it go too far because this is called survival. Because probably if I didn't decide to keep secrets and saying, I wouldn't be here, but this is where I'm at. And I wish this thing would start working, but it's not working. So I don't know. I don't know what to do for the better. And I'm wondering if my microphone could work on this. I just don't know. I'm not gonna do anything to this is the way I'm supposed to live. So let me live. Nobody's gonna